Pella, lower scoring game than you guys are used to playing, sort of classic Heat Knicks here. What'd you make of that one?
It was tough, Both teams were making their runs at different times of the game, but I think we just did a lot better job rebounding today than we did last game, and that's why we won.
For you, it was a strong start offensively in the first quarter, but particularly in the third quarter there. You draw 2 fouls on Karl Anthony Towns, get him out of the game. You draw a charge yourself. What was sort of your mindset headed out of the locker room at halftime that allowed you to be so aggressive and effective to start the second half?
Me and Davion just talked to each other like we got to be the two most energetic players on the court. So we kind of hold each other accountable on that, and that helps a lot.
Our broadcast sort of described you as a great connector for this team, doing all of the little things. What sort of pride do you take in, no matter which lineup is out there, the starters, the reserves, a combination of both, being able to be a uniter of this team?
Yeah, I think everyone is just trying to make winning plays whenever they're on the court. So, that's just basics of basketball, trying to make the winning play every time. So I don't really think about it or whatever. I'm just out there playing, having fun.
I know you take great pride in the defensive end. For you guys tonight, you hold the Knicks team to just 9 made threes. How were you able to do it?
I think the ones that we gave up, we kind of overhelped a little bit, and then we saw that and adjusted, and they started playing a lot one-on-one to try to get us to collapse and then kick out for the three, and then we kind of just stopped helping it and trust everyone to guard one-on-one, and then they're going to score a few points like that, but in the end, it worked.
And finally, what do you think you guys can take from a win like this one moving forward to head into this Warriors game on Wednesday and the games after that to be able to string together several wins in a row?
String together and then definitely bounce back from tough losses too is something we're looking to do. And now, we got a good team coming in that we don't get to see much, so it'll be really exciting. And I'm sure everyone will be extra pumped up, and it's just going to be a fun game.
How important was it for you to play with force down the stretch and maybe turn things from the way they had gone previously in those situations?
Like you said, just playing with more force, playing with more aggression. It's just, it's showing that it's not, easy push down there.
So. When they called, and did you have any reason to be worried, or did you know you got it?
No, I knew that wasn't a good. I knew that wasn't a good team.
What is advice? D was pretty vocal about he texted you after the game about the rebounding. How much does that mean to you when he reaches out? And how did you kind of take it these last few days to improve for tonight?
Yeah, when UD reaching out, well, me and UD always texting, but just telling me, he's one of the, the main people he's had on, rebounding. So, hearing it from him and, hearing that he wants me to be better at that, it's like I would just say it's more motivation for me to go and, pursuing more, especially work on, my body, getting better at that.
Coach was talking about how even your scores at the end, they were scores of force. That instead of flipping the ball, you went solid and you went hard. Are you starting to more of that in those situations, it has to be definitive instead of finesse?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's got to be more towards the rim where you got to make the refs call the foul. So, like I said, you're playing more aggressive, being more aggressive and just making it more known, I would say.
A lot of times you're the only big man out there. How is it in the final sequence when they did 2 offensive rebounds? What's that scrum like where all you're trying to do is get the ball and somehow the other team still gets it and it has to be another fight?
It starts off with me, boxing out the other center. I wasn't guarding at that moment, but boxing out first and, just hoping that the guards, do their job as well, boxing out. If they not able to get around it, I have to do what I did and, help that person out and, get blocks. So.
Davion, can you just kind of talk about the absolute frenzy on that last possession, just the craziness of it all, and again, just in general, obviously, the win as well?
Yeah, it was a great win. I think that they got the jump ball, obviously, and kind of was in scramble mode. It came downhill. Deuce went to his left. I kind of bumped it a little bit, and then Kel'el had a great contest. Made him shoot the ball extremely high. Obviously, they got the rebound, but he did a good job of still contesting that. He just did a really good job of just swarming and helping out on the backside.
There was a lot of Deuce attacking you, and then you attacking Deuce on the other side. What was that battle like with him tonight?
Yeah, Deuce is a a guy that we used to go at each other in college when we played for West Virginia. I played for Baylor, obviously, and he was one of those tough guards, tough defensive-minded who get downhill, who can shoot the ball. I mean, he works extremely hard, so I kind of know him and his hometown people. So he's a guy that's really good in this league, especially for their team that kind of, when Brunson's out, he's aggressive, so you kind of got to make sure you don't get those easy looks.
You guys have seen zone quite a bit the last week or two. How do you feel like you guys fared against it tonight?
I mean, I think we did well. I mean, obviously, I think it slows us down a little bit. I mean, that's what the zone's for. We try to get good shots, and I think we did that tonight. Just swinging the ball, still trusting each other, not trying to just be a hero and try to go in there and score the ball. We trust each other, and we swing the ball, and we got good shots.
Suppose talk about you being a guy that naturally likes to set other guys up, but you kind of got in that mode in the fourth quarter where you were attacking, get in that mode. Is it, I guess, a different switch for you to kind of be ultra aggressive where you're not playing that ultra playmaker at those parts in the game?
Yeah, I think. I think a lot of people in the league know I'm trying to get downhill, make a play, or trying to finish. And I think throughout the game, as we're running, they don't have that many legs. They're not in the gaps. So I see those open lanes, and I get to my spots, and I just make the layup. I kind of make it simple. And if somebody steps up, I just swing the ball and just try to make the right play every time. Thank y'all. Damn.
Norm, you've been around long enough to know in this league, sometimes 50-50, just how things bounce. We saw the game against the Clippers. Kawhi missed the shot. We saw it today. They had 3 chances at the end, didn't get it. But how important is it at the end of the day, like Coach said, just to find a way somehow?
It's super important, every game's not going to be perfect. I know fans, media, even ourselves, going out there and competing, we want to play the best. We want to have, a clean game where, you're not stressed at the end, going down to the last seconds, but that's not how the game goes all the time. So finding different opportunities, different ways to dig out a win is important. Especially as we get deeper into the season. You want to win these close battles, especially with a team like that. And how close the standings are right now. These wins are all important. So it was good bounce back game for us. They fought, we fought, but we were able to hold strong and figure it out. Kel'el did a hell of a job today, and that block that he had was big time.
I was going to ask you about Kel'el. There's obviously going to be ups and downs for young players, but how have you seen kind of Kel'el respond to the adversity, and how impactful was he tonight just from the start? I think he's been great, honestly. I've been on him. Coach has been on him. I've told him, I try to relate to them from, I'm a little older than them, but I always tell them there's a meter. Think of it as like 2K back in the day. There should be a meter, takeover meter in the game. And I told him, the bottom is G League and the top is generational, and I want him to be in that generational every single game. Because that's the talent that he has. And he's been great, especially these last few games, being able to start and getting the opportunity. And it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be perfect where he's hitting every shot and everything like that. But those hustle plays, those energy plays, those second and third opportunities, hustling for the ball, offensive rebounds and things like that is what we need. We feed off that, and we saw that today. And I think he's doing a good job. It's going to be ups and downs, but as long as he stays mentally tough and fighting through the adversity, it's going to be good because we need him.
You guys have seen a lot of zone in the past 2 weeks. There have been stretches kind of in the mud, and there's stretches like the middle of the fourth where you guys were scoring in the paint a ton. When it's going well, what are the habits? What are the tendencies you guys are kind of hitting? When
it's going well, we're sticking to the foundation of the offense. When it's not going well, we're probably one pass possession, no pass possession, and we're trying to attack our guy head on, and the defense is loaded up, and they're able to see the plays in front. But when we swing the ball, having a guy cut through, and then being able to drive those gaps or swing the ball and playing a closeout situation, it's to our advantage. I think they're going zone because they know our pace. It's tough to keep up with that pace. The starting unit coming out running, then that second unit coming in and picking up the tempo. The zone is meant to slow us down. So the way you beat the zone is beating it before it gets set up, and then attacking it once they do. And it's ball movement, body movement, same fundamentals as our man principles. But I think those stretches we need to get a little bit better at, especially as we get deeper in the season. Teams are definitely going to see that the zone works and slows us down a little bit, so we got to be able to execute at a high level.
Normally, it was a relatively slow start for you, but you picked it up, especially in that fourth quarter. What did the Knicks do in the first quarter kind of led to that? Was it make or miss? Was it maybe not getting some fouls? And then what led you to have that, good fourth quarter?
I think it's a mix of everything. They played against me in MSG, and I had 30, so I knew they were going to come out and try something different. I think they were more. They're a little like a step or two closer than they were the game before, in full denials, switching, holding, grabbing. There's a little bit of everything, missing some easy shots, not getting some fouls on my drives. But for me, I've been in this league a long time and just worked on my mental, just staying the course, working the game, letting the game come to me, playing off of my teammates, finding some things in transition to loosen up the defense and just continuing to attack, get in the paint, good things happen. And in the second half, I was able to find my operations in that zone and attack a little bit, get into the paint, get to my floater, and make the plays that are in front of me. But, not every night is going to be me making 4 or 5 threes or whatever it is. The game is won in different ways, and I got to continue to figure out how to work in the offense, especially as I get more attentions on the defense. Hopefully it opens up my teammates to be able to attack as well.
Norm, the Knicks took about half of their shots from 3 last game, and this game it was closer to a third. They take some of the most threes in the league. Was there any sort of emphasis on staying home or running them off the 3-point line tonight to kind of get them out of that part of their game?
Yeah, the emphasis was winning the closeout. That closeout battle is huge, especially when they got Shamet and Clarkson and McBride. They got quick triggers. So it's winning those closeout battles, being a step closer, making them put the ball on the ground instead of having them be able to lace it up. But, they still got, how much did they get, 36 threes? Did a good job. I think 25%. Is good. He made it tough for them, but that's that mentality we have to have defensively. Making every level of the offense for the opposing team difficult. I thought we did a great job of imposing our will defensively.
Drew hit those 3 big threes in the second half. I'm just wondering what you've seen. A guy like that, that's kind of the common pressure.
He should have shot the 4th one when he had the snatch back. I told him that after the game. You got to heat check that. I love Drew. He's a steady force for us in that second unit. He might not always get big numbers, but he's in the right spots at the right time defensively, anchoring that, being in gaps, getting his hands on the basketball for deflections and steals. I'm actually surprised. He only had 1 steal today. I thought he had like 2 or 3 more. But he's just very IQ player on both sides of the ball, and he picks his spots. And today he made 3 big threes. Should have been 4. I'm going to stay on him about that, but he was great today. Timely baskets to keep us in the game, especially going out in them stretch winning moments.
Appreciate it, Norm. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You sort of forecasted before the game, and you said just find a way to win, and it certainly seemed across the board.
Yeah.
So many different ways, from Pelle, from Drew hitting the threes, Simone hitting them early, Kel'el with the boards later. Is this what you mean by finding a way to win?
Yeah, because, when you're trying to work on all of your things, your identity, like how you want to play on both sides of the floor, sometimes you just can get lost in the minutia. It still comes down to just competitors find a way to win. It doesn't have to go perfect. It never will go perfect. It never will just be exactly how you want it to go. And then ultimately, you just have to figure out as a group of competitors, how to put your fingerprints on a game and then come out with it with big plays, to secure a W. And we made some big plays, going down the stretch. And Kel'el was very impactful in those last, several minutes. And that's certainly growth.
Speaking of Kel'el, I was going to ask about him. He seemed to have his fingerprints on the game from the start. Strong start, and he obviously left him on the court for much of that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What did you like about what he did tonight, maybe compared to?
It just felt like the multiple efforts, even the block, that was called a goaltend. Like, it was a great effort on his part. The rebounding, was very intentional. And the multiple efforts. I love that drive that he had with 4 minutes to go. It was kind of a loose ball. It caught on the baseline. It could have been one of those flip shots, but he wanted to make sure that this thing was going to the rim and got the and one. That showed me, there's growth in time, score, context, swing moments. Like, hey, let's not just get a shot that you might take in the first 3 minutes of a game, but also some of the defense that he had on one of the best scorers in this game. I'm not talking about necessarily getting stops. It's just you have to negotiate through a lot of different things: pick and roll basketball, flares. A guy who knows how to draw fouls, is crafty, and then when he's not on them, like, hey, you got to patrol the paint and make sure that you're protecting the rim for us. And so there's a lot of different kind of roles that he had to do throughout the course of the game.
You've seen a lot of zone lately, and for a while there it was kind of grinding the offense down, but then there was that stretch in the middle of the fourth where you guys ran off between 10 and 14 points in the paint kind of in a row. Is there anything to take away from that stretch against the zone?
Yeah, I think we're still going to get to our game regardless. And, we'll get a ton of experience at it. I'm sure a lot of teams will zone us, and I think that's good. The more you can see things, the more you can work on it and, get an attack. We'll find out what the numbers were, but the numbers in New York were very good. I think it was 1.4 something, per possession against the zone. It was really more that we couldn't get stops. Did we have to score 150, to get that win? But yeah, I think it'll be a good thing.
Obviously, many contributions, but Davion right from the start had his fingerprints. I mean, you spoken before about the physicality needed to win games like this, but he was just kind of everywhere tonight.
Probably the average fan has no idea how elite that last defensive cutoff was. McBride was going full speed. You know that he's a three-point shooter. He could pull up. That could be the game-winning points on the board, so you have to meet him early. He crossed over, and he caught his move. And then got him to shoot the pull-up. But he was doing a lot of things throughout the course of the game. Davion's a great competitor. And, now he's really improved in terms of his off-ball defense. He can be a menace, when he's not guarding the ball. We know what he can do on the ball, but he's really becoming a good disruptive, help defender. And then offensively, we want to just pump him with confidence because he naturally loves setting other guys up. But we're a better team when he's aggressive, when he's getting downhill, when he's taking his open threes. So it was good balance.
Erik, like the other night when on Quinney's play that you used for the game winner, it required 4 or 5 guys to do things precisely right. Last possession tonight, same thing. How important are these games when it's not one guy having to make a play, when it takes a collective to do everything right to pull one out?
Yeah. Those last couple of defensive sequences, there's a lot of stuff going on, and, again, we had Kel'el on Josh Hart, so that's not like an easy thing. Other teams have put centers on him, and he finds a way to, eat up the space or find a loose ball, which he actually did, on that one tip out before that. But, yeah, everybody had to do their part, and then you also have to get them to miss, We had a couple good, contests, and that's a very makeable shot by Towns on the baseline. But you know how I think. I think there's like a karma, to the game sometimes. And I think, we did a lot of things to earn it.
Drew hit 3 huge threes in that second half. Just how much of a calming presence is he? And in bigger picture, how much does the outside shot, I guess, come along where you see his confidence kind of peaking?
Well, his confidence can be anything, he chooses it to be because he can do whatever he wants, out there. Like, we're not going to, pull the reins on him at all. But I think the bigger thing is like, when I talk about, like, make a competitive impact, that's what he does. So all of a sudden, if the game requires I got to knock down 3 threes, he's going to do that. He might not do that the next game. It might be like the 3 steals, or he just has an incredible knack for, if a big brings the ball down or somebody brings the ball down, under the waist, he's going to come up with that. he's really great for that unit because he keeps them settled. Everybody else can just be, aggressive, hair on fire. He just kind of is a calming presence and super smart, disciplined, and it just had an impact. I didn't see what the overall plus minus was, but he's usually always up there. Okay, thank you.